The year is 2002. The junk wax era of the 90s was a thing of the past. Pokémon was slowly losing relevancy at the turn of the century. It needed a way to save itself. It needed something to make a splash. It needed to connect the success of the video game and the Pokémon game. Enter the e-reader. It's what I would have liked to have said if it actually happened this way, but Star Squad, as we know, that vision did not pan out as we expected. 2002 was an interesting year for Pokémon. They had just released what is one of the most iconic sets of all time, the Legendary Collection, and Nintendo and Pokémon introduced the e-reader.
The game is inside the cards. New e-reader for Game Boy Advance. Slide the cards to play some of your favorite games. E-reader comes with a classic game and a sample pack. More games sold separately.
So what did they do? They teamed up with Wizards of the Coast as the Wizards of the Coast contract was coming to an end, and they printed 3 sets. On September 15th, 2002, they rolled out Expedition, and then they rolled out Aquapolis, and then they rolled out Skyridge. Before I jump into these sets, what is an e-reader? The e-reader was a scannable card, almost like a credit card checking out. Well, I guess most people use tap today, but no one really scans anymore, but the idea still stands. You scanned your Pokemon in your Game Boy Advanced or your GameCube, and on the screen, the Pokemon card would pop up. What people didn't realize back then, and what a lot of people regret now, is that it absolutely tore up your Pokemon card. So what does that mean? If you can find a mint card from the e-reader era, they grade impeccably because most people e-readers' cards are an absolute shambles thanks to the e-reader. Who's to blame for this? I think we can safely blame all of Nintendo for that. No, we love you, Nintendo. We love you. For now.
I'm leaving that in.
Thank you. 2 of these 3 sets, Skyridge and Aquapolis, are absolutely goated, grails, unbelievable sets in the hobby. One set that, in my opinion, is super slept on is Expedition. These 3 sets are super hard to find, some of the most underprinted sets in all of Pokemon because, like I said, the popularity was dipping so much. That's why there's so much Jungle, Base Set, Fossil, and Team Rocket around, because that was at the all-time frenzy. But in the 2002-2003 era, there wasn't a lot of popularity, and so inherently less boxes were created. I don't know why Expedition isn't shown as much love as something like Skyridge and Aquapolis, because the Expedition art is amazing. You have a Blastoise, you have a Charizard, you have a Venusaur, you have all 3 starters. You have a really cool Skarmory, you have Mewtwo, you have Mew, you have Typhlosion, you have Feraligatr, you have Meganium. You have fan favorite popular Pokemon. Many original 151 Pokemon are the holo variants. Don't sleep on Alakazam, don't sleep on Gengar, don't sleep on Raichu, and definitely don't sleep on Dragonite. This art style from 2002, I think, perfectly encapsulates the time capsule that this set is. 2002 was a very interesting time in pop culture and in fashion and just in general. The Y2K movement was a couple years in the past, and I think the art style reflects this time period. Was I only 1? I hadn't even turned 2 yet. True. What would I know about 2001, 2002? Well, the internet exists, Start Squad, so I can do a little typing. I think what's so cool about something like Expedition and the set is that you're getting a reverse, right? Reverses weren't really a thing from Wizards of the Coast. I mean, you had the Firework Holo from Legendary Collection, but before that, there weren't reverse cards. So this was really the first inception of a reverse. So you were getting a hit in every pack, what we would now know to be hits because reverses from this era are quite expensive. You're getting the holo, which of course holos were always the hits going back to the base set. And then you would get a non-holo rare. So there was chances that you could get 3 rares in a pack, which obviously are some of the coolest arts being the final evolutions and the more powerful Pokemon. So that's why I think Expedition is slept on, not just because they're super popular Pokemon, not just because it's a Charizard set, but because you could get 3 rares in a pack. You could get a reverse Charizard and a holo Charizard hypothetically in the same pack. Never seen it done. If someone's seen it done, send me the clip, that'd be awesome. But also because the great ability of these cards today make it so coveted because the e-readers are in shambles for most people's collections as kids. If you thought your base set or your jungle or your fossil cards were messed up, if you had e-readers and you swiped them through the GameCube, go check on them because they're probably in tatters and you probably could understand why the price of those cards being super underprinted and not a lot in good condition are worth so much. And I just don't think Expedition gets the flowers it deserves along the giants like Aquapolis and Skyridge. And I think it's time to start putting Expedition in that conversation. Because Pokemon had lost its spotlight and its shine from 99 and 2000, 2002 was just a very weird time for Pokemon, and it's why this set is overlooked so much because so little of it exists. 22 years later, this set has become an absolute grail for so many collectors, and that just goes to show you, just because something in its time and years after is clowned for its artwork or its gimmick, doesn't mean it can't be cool later on. And I think that's just kind of the thesis of the e-readers. And obviously the actual e-reader thing itself is a wildly underwhelming piece of machinery, but a part of history if nothing else. If you go back and play GameCube games compared to, PS5 games, those seem like fossils as well. So I just think to appreciate what it was at the time and where Pokemon was is extremely important to the history of the hobby. Star Squad, I've had a lot of fun talking about Expedition. I really missed making history videos. It's something I really like to enjoy and deep dive into. Hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll make some more like this. And it's been your boy Blue, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
The game is inside the cards. New e-reader for Game Boy Advance. Slide the cards to play some of your favorite games. E-reader comes with a classic game and a sample pack. More games sold separately. Rated E for everyone.